Good morning, everybody. Hello. Even if you're not watching this in the morning, it's morning here. Still morning.
It is still morning.
Mm-hmm. Welcome to episode who knows what.
Let's say 17.
Maybe. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Oh,
it's the 17th. We're going to say it's the 17th. Even if it's not.
Because today is the 17th.
Correct. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
You might not be sitting on the same day, but...
So we just both realized we have cartoon cups today.
We do.
Not planned. This is... Go ahead.
You go first.
No.
I have Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo's my favorite. So Scooby says on this side, and then on this side, you got his cute little face.
It's a mystery.
Ruh-roh.
I have my kid's mug, actually. It's Super Mario.
Super cool.
Because I ran out of probably mugs, I think, that I've used during the podcast. I'm kind of running thin on mugs.
You might need to get a new mug.
I have a lot of mugs. 17 apparently, if that's how many we've done, because I feel like I'm running low on my selections. So anyway, cheers.
Here we are. Booze
cartoons,
and brews. Cheers.
Mario. But I thought it was funny because Mario, I always think of like the coins. Yes. And he punches out like he's punching a hair.
And I can hear
doing,
like
doing,
ding,
doing,
ding,
yeah.
ding,
Yeah, which then, of course, I'm telling you all this to get to the topic that we picked today, because I started thinking about the coins, which then led to, like, the pot of gold for St. Patrick's Day, and then, like, leprechauns and rainbows and all these things. All to tie together a theme for today, which is magic, talking about magic. And it's really kind of an interesting thing, and we were just kind of wondering if we're going to have enough to talk about in this context. Well, we'll see. We'll see how long it goes. We don't have to keep you forever. But it brought up an interesting point of magic, because I feel like a lot of the intuitive things that I do are sort of magical. I feel like they are magical.
They are magical.
I think it's
things that people aren't accustomed to other people being able to do.
Right. Yes.
That you're like doing magic.
Yeah, it's just magic that I seem to know information or be able to figure things out, or give you not know you from anybody and tell you things about yourself. So it does seem pretty magical. And that brought me full circle to the whole idea of, like, right now I'm reading a book. My kid has this book that we have to read every night. It's a chapter book for school, and it's about a magician. Well, it's about a kid who is being raised by his uncle, who is a magician. Anyway.
Sounds deep.
Right. Well, it is kind of, it's a little deep. In any case, we're reading through the book, and my kid says, he's like, well, I don't believe in magic. No, the child in the book also says he doesn't believe in magic. Why does he say this? Because his uncle's a magician, right? And he feels that the magic is the great word that you used earlier, which was deceptive. And the kid in the book refers to his uncle as a con man, right? So, because he's trying to use illusion and magic to get
parallels.
Right. He's trying to use illusion and magic to get, things that he wants, and it's not pure of intention. So, in any case, it kind of like led me thinking about, the whole leprechaun and all of it together, and magic in general, and how as children, we think of magic as like, oh, I'm going to pull this card out of my sleeve, or I'm going to give you produce like a bouquet of flowers
out of nothing, or the quarter behind the ear.
Yeah, the quarters are going to be behind the ears and things like that. Like, that's magic. Like, it's a magic trick. It's a show, and being a trick, it's a trick.
I was going to say, when you think of the actual term magic trick, it's like literally like a trick, like it's part of the
word itself, right? Like we've come to assess, take it as something different. Like, oh, it's a little act, but it's meant to be a trick, an illusion trick, right? Yeah. So I think we grow up kind of thinking like magic isn't real. Isn't real. Yeah. Like, it can't exist. It's just a trick. It's just a con.
It's an illusion.
It's all an illusion, So then we think about things like leprechauns and go on down that train of thought, and how that's, well, obviously that's not real. That's not real. But they all come from a basis of something. Like, they've all originated in some idea or form of magic in some way. So we did a little reading on leprechauns and how they were originally not wearing green, they were wearing red, and they are shoemakers, right? So they are, what do we call those? Cobble.
I was gonna say cobblers.
I was gonna call them cobblers,
like, like
but that sounds like food.
It's a
very.
Isn't a cobbler?
I think it's a cobbler.
I think a cobbler does repair shoes.
Right. So that's why they have like the big clunky shoes with the buckles, because they're so. And over time, the folklore of the leprechaun kind of took its own thing, and how they were meant to represent like very short men, but I don't know what that truly, no one, it's not really clear when in my very brief Google introduction of leprechauns what that means, but basically they're of the fairy world, and I have often heard, in the elemental world, there's garden fairies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like people set up little like fun little gardens for them, little garden fairies, and you can see them like glint and flicker and light and things like that, and then you're like, oh, it's a trick of the eye, like it can't possibly be true. But then you're like, could it? I mean, could it be true? Like, and how many things are true that we don't think are true because we don't see them with our very limited human eyesight? What's on different vibrations we don't see. Like we don't see spirits, we don't see things like that. We don't see fairies, we don't see them because we only trust our eyes, like the whole doubting Thomas thing, right? So it's kind of interesting. And that's the thing with a lot of these other legends, like St. Patrick himself, wasn't even Irish, he was Roman. And he didn't drive the snakes out of Ireland, which most of us know. But he had a staff that is very godlike with a shamrock on the top. And that's how we got to the shamrock being related to St. Patrick's Day, which I didn't know. I learned that today. But it's supposed to be related to the Trinity. Again, like we're back to like a religious kind of aspect that a lot of these traditions kind of stem from, and we've made them different, and they've mutated over time.
Yeah, they've changed.
The stories have changed
to suit the interest of the people who are telling the stories.
Right. And we look at it now as like a fun little jaunty holiday.
Yes, mischievous.
Everybody has a little Irish in them. I probably have a lot of Irish in me because I have red hair and pale skin. They tell me I'm mostly Italian, but I don't know. I'm not buying it. Who knows?
I'm part Irish too.
Everybody's Irish today.
That's okay. I'm decked out in my Irish gear. I got my shirt, I got my earrings, which you wouldn't be able to see probably, unless like you're here. My necklace. It's they all kind of match a little bit. This was my mother-in-law's. It was just like I think her favorite holiday. She was very Irish. So I am decked out today, ready for
a lucky day
of work, and that's kind of it.
And wealth and rainbows.
Yes, and maybe I can go to bed early, which would be very lucky.
Well, that would be reaching the end of the rainbow, right?
That's right. That's the pot of gold right there.
Exactly. And that's kind of funny because we started talking about, well, what about magic? What do we want to talk about? And how when my kid tells me like I don't believe in magic, and then I question him because of what I do, and I tell him that I believe in magic. I believe in magic a lot in my type of work, but it doesn't look like the magic that we're reading about in the book. It doesn't look like an illusionist. It doesn't look like, producing coins and disappearing and untying yourself from a lot of knots, or being locked in a cage underwater that you have to get out of like Houdini. And it doesn't look like that. And I think that because when we're children, we are very much taught like that's what a magic show looks like, and that it's not to be trusted. It's like there's always a gimmick, there's always a tell, there's always a way that you do it.
Create it. It's not real.
Right. I mean, some obviously better than others magicians, but anyway, the point being is that like none of it looked real, and therefore I think that we grow up with the notion that magic doesn't happen. Like magic is a kid thing.
Yeah.
It's
and
like
it's kind of like and it's like it's kind of make believe. It's not. It's fake. It's we kind of I think we get jaded over time. Like the idea that like like that was just like someone playing a trick on me.
And I actually Googled the definition of magic, and it was like an illusion. Something that you conjure kind of idea. And that they're kind of really kind of scary terms. It was like oculate and conjure and like Ouija board kind of ideas. Yeah. And you're like, oh wow, that's not. that's not my version of magic. And I very simply tried to explain to my son that, like, magic, you can create magic, and magic can happen in a lot of different ways. And it's not always not usually in like a material kind of production of something, where it's more like you think about something and then it's realized in real life. Like you think about so-and-so and then they call you, or you are manifesting an idea and it happens, or you're looking for a sign from someone that's crossed over and then it appears. So those are the kind of magic tricks. I'm not going to say they're tricks, but that's the kind of magic that I believe in. And having this conversation with the universe and realizing that there's way more out there than just us. We as humans and the things that we see right here, solid animals, things like that, we're all happen to be on the same vibration. And other things are not on our vibration, and therefore we are not seeing them. Does it mean that they're not there? No, they're just not on our vibration. I think that we have very limited eyesight and very limited hearing as humans. I mean, we know that dogs can hear, like 52 times better than us or something? I mean, they can hear like a rabbit in the woods in the middle of the night sleeping in my bed, and I don't even hear the fan running. So, yeah, I mean, I think we're just so limited, and remembering that there's like a vastness out there that we don't, as unexplored, we don't understand. And anything that we don't know, we immediately dismiss as like, oh, it can't be.
It's impossible.
Impossible. Disbelief. To tell you the truth, I don't know how my cell phone works. But it does, right?
I said the other day that I was still trying to figure out like how a fax machine worked, which is really pretty irrelevant probably at this point.
You're obsoleting your own idea.
I don't need to like spend time figuring it out because most people aren't faxing. So,
Right. Yeah, but someone scientist has figured all this stuff out. I don't know how it works, but I do know that vibrations exist. I do know that there are things between the layers. I do know that there are other dimensions. I do know that there are other beings. I do very much feel like that we are specifically human beings. And if we're going to call ourselves, why weren't we just beings?
Why weren't we just human?
Right. Well, I mean, right. Because there's other beings.
Other beings.
Right. There's other species.
I was like, we need to finish that sentence. Both of us were like, we're just human. The end.
Right. Well, because there's other things out there. And I think that if you follow a lot of the work that, like what we do here, and you'll have seen that the next couple years they're supposed to be releasing information, the top secret information that aliens do exist, and they're interdimensional, and there's intergalactics, and there's other things going on. And most of us
don't even know like what's like in more than like 6% of the ocean. So
right, exactly,
and that's literally here. So
right,
we can't know everything probably.
And I think I kind of chuckle because these are ideas that I think I've grappled with a long time ago when I started to get into this work, and knowing that there's more. There's a lot more. One of the very first blogs I did, and I'm going to say I started opening up to this kind of work, I don't know, 20 some years ago. And sounds like a very silly thing for me to say now, knowing with all the things I know, but the idea that Earth was not the only Earth, like there could be other Earths. I don't know. I don't know if I haven't explored them, but myself, I have not, believe it or not.
Are you sure?
I am sure. But what if
you weren't a human?
What if we are a snow globe? What if like we're a science project for a 5th grader in some other planet, and he's like, "Well, this is going horribly wrong."
Or he's getting like, the ribbon being like, "Well done,
well done, good assignment."
Tricking all these people. Well, that's magic.
The Truman Show, right?
Jeez. I don't like what they say.
In any case, I think that when I first did a blog, and it was kind of very eye-opening to myself to admit to myself that I don't necessarily think we're the only thing floating out here in this ball of, Earth planet, or what's beyond Earth, and how do we know that the other planets weren't previously Earths that they really screwed up?
Yes.
And now they're not livable at all.
I know.
Like, what if they've extinguished all other 8 of those planets?
Mercury was like, okay, we messed this up by being a little bit too close to the sun. Yeah. And we're gonna be like, let's back this up a little bit. We just burned all our food up.
I mean, maybe Jupiter, they just had too many emissions and they just made it all gaseous. Like, I don't know. Like, what? We laugh about it, but we truly don't know. We don't know a lot about this stuff. And I think, people, they say like, oh, people are going to go crazy when they find out that aliens are real. Are we? Are we going to go crazy? I think that there's been enough, at least like content made in Hollywood to allude to the fact that there is some shred of possibility that this could all be true.
And we're obviously it came from somewhere at some point, and then people embellish on it perhaps, or
the tale changes over time, just like leprechauns, right? Yeah. It changes over time.
Yep, it suits to what is necessary.
And there's no saying that we're the only beings, humans. I mean, if we're humans, I mean, I am human. I don't know if there's others walking around amongst us who appear to be human that are not human.
I was making sure.
Right?
This
is a topic that seems that you're very interested in.
Yes, I'm always interested. And there's terms I had never heard of until more recently. Obviously, not obviously, because who knows where everybody's at, but you may have heard of shadow people. You may have heard of waywards. You may have heard of grays. It's funny. And so on. We could probably, there's so many different kinds.
Reptilians is really big right now. If you're following any type of reels, there's lots of reels about reptilians.
Aliens, just obviously. I mean, an alien is just literally something that's
foreign.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it.
We're talking
outer space.
Outer space aliens.
Yes, not immigration aliens.
But it fascinates me so much because I had some of these things I'd never heard of. I mean, werewolves and vampires and things like
a Yeti.
Legends.
Like, is a Yeti on a different vibration and they like tear through and end up being on the wrong, like maybe they're just not skilled enough in staying in their own vibration?
I don't know if they're in a different vibration, if they're in an alternate universe, if they're in a
parallel
timeline. Like these things like that I don't know enough about to tell you, because these would be fascinating podcasts for me, but we would be spinning probably in the same like, what if this, and giving you no actual information. Now, if you want us to talk about it because it's exciting and we can just
parallels are crazy. Like the idea being that every time you get to a decision and you split, like you really have made both decisions and one stays on one timeline and one goes into another timeline. So you're having like parallel timelines of your own soul all over the place.
This is probably why those Choose Your Own Adventure books were really high on my list. I loved those, but I was like a little bit like, and I had to do the book all different ways. But
it really begs the question of like, how does the past, present, and future exist all in the same time? Because it does. Because you're still existing in the past, like you keep bringing it forward into the present moment, but the future is right next to you. So it really does all intersect at the same time. And also, what if, when we talk about like heaven and hell, we very much have made these imagery ideas when we're little of like, oh, the heaven's up here and hell's down here and this is fiery and this is blue. And okay, I think most of us know that those, well, maybe you don't, but that figuratively don't really exist like this, are in different realms. But what if all the realms are actually existing right here? We just can't see each other on those realms.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about limited vision, limited hearing, limited smell. Like, animals don't have those issues. There's animals that...
Your cats can see other dimensions for sure. I mean, you watch cats all the time. They're communicating with things that are not there. If you have a cat in your house, you're absolutely communicating with things that are not there. I mean, my dogs do too. Yeah. I mean, and we are as well. We just have to understand that. Like I had, if you saw my, you know what I'm going to say, like saw my video on my page, my Facebook page the other day about how creepy it was that my Alexa, who I'm sure is a spy, started, playing random creepy music in the morning. I was home. No one else was around me except for the dogs. Everyone was quiet. House was very quiet. And here she is with this like creepy instrumental music. And I don't know. One of my clients was kind enough to decode that for me and tell me what it was. Because I don't know anything about instrumental music except that it was like creep factor number 10 for me. And for a few seconds of hearing it, I was not sure if I was actually hearing it. It was like, am I hearing something? Like, what is that? And I'm like, stop what I'm doing, because I was cutting something, and I said, am I actually hearing music? And then, where's it coming from? And I walk over quietly to the Alexa and I'm like, oh, it is you. So I don't, but
How did she get so quiet too?
Well, who told her? She got the command from somewhere. So where did it come from? Was it interdimensional? Was that sent to me? But that to me is magic. That is a magical thing.
That is magic. But you said that she got the command from somewhere, except that when you actually investigated where it was coming from, it literally told you that nothing was playing on Alexa at that time.
Yeah, I went through
and
my
that
app.
the first time was like 10 or 11 minutes later.
Yes.
Which, because she had the time on her video, because she videoed.
I did video
the sound, the music. So it wasn't a question of like, oh, maybe I looked at my clock wrong, or I set my watch fast, so maybe I looked at my watch thinking it was this time, and it was. But
when I went through the app and investigated what was playing on what device at what time, it told me nothing was playing on any device at that time. It was crazy. So, but crazy or magic, right? So, but what about little events that happen where, you kind of that was a close one. You're almost in an accident and then somehow you escape, or you're not hurt, or, and you think oh, wow, that was a close one. No, that's angelic energy. That's angels, that's guides, that's people on different people. I say people, but beings on different dimensions that have intervened on your behalf, because they're oh, can't let this one in. Can't be on a different timeline right now. You got to stay right where you are, and we'll let you skate through this. We'll let you skate through this one, but you feel that relief of oh, thank goodness, something saved me. So we want to believe it to that extent, but not believe in magic.
Or even something
has
that
to
even
fit our code of what we want to believe in.
Right, but finding something that you can't lost, being ready to run out of the house, not being able to find your keys for the car, and being oh my gosh, and worrying yourself and panicking, and all of a sudden they're just kind of there, and you're I looked here 5 times.
But magic in the other way as well. You couldn't find your keys for 15 minutes, and then you finally get them, and then you're driving the way you're supposed to drive, and the road is closed because 15 minutes prior there had been an accident. Right? So that's a magical type of intervention. I don't refer to that as when I think about it, it's not a magical term, but it really is all the same type of idea. And it comes down to, and you can create magic yourself through manifesting. We've talked about manifesting on different podcasts before, and really the universe is a mirror of what you're building your own reality. So it's a mirror of what you're projecting. It's not even so much an idea of, I want to put this out there and put my intention out there. Yes, you do want to put your intention out there. You absolutely, if you're going to manifest, you have to put the intention out there in a positive mindset, not in a negative. And you can't say, I don't want to be fat. You have to say, I want to be healthy. I want to be thin. You have to be specific.
Manifest what you actually want. Yes. Not what you don't want.
Right. And that's where I think people, even myself, you get stuck in manifesting, because you might say the correct words and you might feel oh, I want to feel that, or conjure, to bring that word back, and a feeling or an image of when I'll use weight for it because it's an easy, very tangible example of when you looked the way you wanted, or you have a picture of oh, I remember what I felt and looked like in that picture, and that looks so great. Except, as I'm saying this out loud, I often wonder, because when I look at pictures where I can look at the picture and see that I looked great. I was in so-and-so's wedding and I looked wonderful. I have had a complex about myself since I was little. And I bet you anything that day that picture was taken, I would bet dollars to donuts that I didn't think I looked good. So when I look at that picture and I'm I look so great, and I want to manifest what's in that picture, am I truly manifesting that I look great? Or what about the image? What about the ideas that I had about myself when I was in that picture? Mm-hmm. Am I still bringing that forward? And to this self-consciousness of it, oh, does this dress really look good on me? Or do my arms look too big? Or am I the biggest girl in the wedding party? All of these things that occurred to me that day, 10 years later, looking at the picture, I'm oh, you look so great. But that day, did I actually have the confidence that I think that I had when I look back on it? Because so now I say oh, I would trade, for that body now any day. I looked great there, but I never appreciated when I actually looked wouldn't
I
actually
think
look
that's
good.
absolutely very true. Very
So,
true. I think
yeah.
that we probably all fall into that, like where like you don't appreciate what it was like at that time because you didn't have the,
So I can appreciate it in the past.
Sort of idea.
I don't know if that's the same. I don't know if it's the same. Like, I'm not sure that you can manifest, like, I appreciate it in the past. But anyway, part of manifesting is bringing those positive ideas forward into and combining it with emotions and feelings and imagery and all of the things around you to bring it forward. You have to act as if it already exists. And that is very tough. When it doesn't actually exist and you have to act like it exists, because the universe is literally mirroring it back to you. So you have to create that mirror effect. It's like a boomerang. You put it out and it comes back. You put it out. It's like, people talk about karma in that way. You put it out and it comes back. Because it is a literal ricochet of an effect.
Yeah.
So in order to manifest the things that you want, you have to let go of the limiting beliefs that you have that they're not true. Because even if I'm saying all the right things and I'm visualizing the right things, and then I tell myself, over and over again, like, oh, this doesn't look good, or this isn't what I want, or this, I'm still like this, or I haven't done enough, or I'm not worthy of it, or it's just not working for me. I'm still putting those things out too. Like, the universe hears all of it. It's not just like, shh, just hear this one part.
Ignore the rest of
and ignore the rest of it. We talk about words and I think we've all probably seen recently, well, I don't know if we have, but spelling is the word spelling, again, like magic. It's for a reason, right? Because you're actually creating a spell. So when you're spelling and talking and using words and language in your mind, along with what's coming out of your mouth, it's creating a spell. And not to be like scary in the spell, but you're creating that mirror effect with the universe. So it's kind of interesting, but I think that in my life, I've manifested some pretty cool things. And then there's other things that I really struggle with. And I think those are probably the things that I have a lot of limiting beliefs around. But, like I look at my dog Breaker, and I think all the time how I feel like I very much manifested him, because I had a pup Phantom, who was like, led me down this path mostly. And he was like my soul dog and I loved him so much. But there were things about Phantom that when he passed away, I was like, in my next dog, I want a dog that wants to cuddle, because Phantom wasn't a cuddler. I want a dog that wants to cuddle, and I want a dog that gets along with other dogs, and I wanted these things in an animal, and then I ended up with Breaker, who I didn't know anything about him when we got him. Like, it was just, I picked him up from a shelter, and that was that. And we developed along the way. But he is all of those things that I really was trying to shove into one animal.
Yeah. All the wants. He's a really, really cool dog.
He's very cuddly. He's like so cuddly that it's like so much.
I know, sometimes you're like, okay, back off these cuddles a little bit, because we are actually two separate beings.
He doesn't think so. We are very attached. So yeah, and then I think too, and this isn't it doesn't talk to either of them as people, but my ex-husband and my husband are very, very different, like completely opposites in almost every way possible.
Yeah.
And it's kind of weird, you're like, how did you go from here to here? And I think, well, I manifested that, because when this ended over here, and I was like, well, if I were to ever do this again, I want the complete, literally, like I want like the opposite. And then the opposite appeared. And that's how it ended up.
Wow, okay.
And I'm like, okay, well, there's the opposite. So I think that it is in and I remember very much thinking that, like, oh my gosh, I would do so many things opposite the way I do them now. And then it was quite literally the opposite. Yeah. So, it's kind of interesting when you start to break it down into like things that you have put out in the universe and like how they have come back to you. And so be careful what you wish for.
Yeah. That's like a legitimate, like, just be mindful. Be mindful.
Be mindful of the language
Careful
that you're using.
Sounds scary, so be mindful what you wish for.
Right, yes, because the words that you're putting out are mirroring back to you. So, but I hope that you think about some of these things and understand that we have a very limiting, I think we're taught to only believe what we see, only believe what we can hear. Like, again, back to that, like, doubting Thomas idea. But we all know where that story ended, and that, like, there was much more.
Yeah.
There was much more than was actually happening. So, you have any thoughts?
A lot of thoughts.
Okay.
I think that magic is, it feels special when you really think down to like the core of it, because it's not supposed to be something that happens, well, in my thoughts, it's not supposed to be something that happens like every minute, you know, like it's not like
every minute's not magical. It's not Disney World everywhere.
He's fun wheel. No, not really. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of ordinary, and I think sometimes truthfully, when you can look back on something, then you can say, like, you know what, every moment was magical because I got to do this or this or this, or I was still alive, I was breathing, I was more healthy, I was whatever. But we're talking about, like,
understanding it in the moment.
Yeah, and I think that we don't understand it in the moment, and like when you think about,
it comes in
like,
small little packets.
Yeah,
really.
and when you think about just, I mean, like, honestly, like probably like 7th grade biology or something like that, like just how your body works, like all the things that have to actually happen every minute for you to stay alive. It's a little bit like, well, holy crap, like we don't have, most machines aren't made to last all the time.
Just think of, like, I mean, so like your blood doesn't make any noise in your body. Like, that can't be true, but we can't hear it.
You can when you're anxious, or you can in certain situations.
But talking about, like, how limited things are.
Yeah, like you don't even hear your own, like, body function.
Right.
I mean, that's okay.
On a different frequency, right?
Yeah, that's probably true. Oh, we could go, like, so many places. Like, I feel like it's like a Dr. Seuss book. Oh, the places we could go.
So choose your own adventure book, like the ones that you like, right?
Those books, those were so good.
But yeah, I think to sum it up, we just, we got to talking today about tying in, like, how does the St. Patrick's Day fit into it? It all comes down to, like, lucky, right? Like luck of the Irish, magic, magical coins, leprechauns, and magic doesn't happen in a very tangible way, especially when we grow up. Even when we're little. But and I think that we are taught often to discount it and discredit it, and so therefore it becomes not true. We don't look for those tiny packets of magic that do happen. Like today I looked up I was in the gym and I looked up and there was a ladybug just on the wall, just one little ladybug, which is a sign for me from the other side. And I was like, oh, there it is. Like, thank you for that. And acknowledging it and saying, like, I see you. Like, thank you. Not everything, I don't believe at all in coincidence. I really do not believe in coincidence at all. I think that everything happens on a frequency and a vibration, and it is meant to appear when it's meant to appear. And if you acknowledge it and thank it for making your day, making you smile, whatever, and then you send that back out to the universe, and more fun things come back.
Yeah, that's for sure true. That's definitely true.
Yeah. So you do have to acknowledge, you have to be appreciative. I think that a lot of what is going on in when you take out all of the systems and crap around us, like, it all basically boils down to love and gratitude. And that is what Spirit tells me from the other side as well. Like, we don't take any of this with us. So it's when we get out of our own way, because the whole time we're here, it feels like all we're doing is, like, paying bills and buying things and all to sustain and live and try to do all of the things that we need to do to exist. When we get into a different vibration, none of that is what matters. And that's not what any of them really talk about. They don't talk about, like, oh, I wish I had, like, worked harder. Like we always say, you don't wish that you had worked an extra day or had an extra couple dollars, or no, you don't at all. You think about the loved ones and things that you love and things like that. So
very true.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, we hope you all have a very lucky, magical day.
Yes, happy St. Patrick's Day to anybody who celebrates, which is most of us, today at least.
Yes, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.